it was locked in fucking short portrait mode, and it caused me to abandon my stream. So here we are in landscape mode, and since I fixed it, I thought I'd share with you my thoughts on the issues of the day. Not really the issue of the day, really, or the issues of the day. So a lot of people are kind of caught up in what's happening as if like today is a unique experience and we must react to what is happening today only. And then once that's over, our interest is diminished and we just move on. But let's just take a look at the underpinning, the foundation, the fundament, if you like, the things that are permanent and unchanging in the way the world is and the way our nations and geopolitics are run and how we should understand them. So just to give you a spoiler alert, this is about debt and control of our politicians through the funding of their political campaigns. That's essentially what this piece is about. So I'll give you my perspective, which is a citizen, resident, and voter. Allegedly, I don't vote in the UK. The UK's current annual fiscal deficit is 250 billion. 250 billion. The interest on the UK's debts is 100 billion a year. And this hasn't changed for a long time. It hasn't changed for a long time. And whenever I see a problem, one of the first things I ask myself is, who is benefiting from this? And the fact of the matter and the obvious answer to that question is banks. Banks benefit from countries being in debt. And so then the next question is, why haven't we paid off our debts and stopped making banks rich? Which is it's an interesting question, that, and it caused me to take a look at who our leaders have been funded by, who funded their election campaigns and made it possible for them to become our leaders. These are the prime ministers of UK. But believe me, it's true. The same thing is happening in your country. I know this to be a fact, and if you wish, you can find out all about it and check it for yourself. John Faves, thanks for tuning in. Yes, indeed. Tyranny. The tyranny of debt. The tyranny of debt and the total fucking facade, the facade of democracy, the total delusion, in fact, the delusion of democracy, as it were. So I'd like to take you through a short history of the leaders of the UK. Hello from Poland. Hello from Scotland. Your country's probably in debt as well, Poland, to the same bankers. And your leaders, I imagine, are almost certainly funded by the same kinds of people. And we'll come to that in a minute. So our current ruler, Keir Starmer, the previous one, Rishi Sunak, the one before that, Boris Johnson. We'll come to Liz Truss in a minute. The one before that, and the one before that. Let me just run you through some of the history of the funding and support that got these people into power. It's Jewish finance. Now, I checked with AI, right? And AI ChatGPT will not let you say or create satire or scripts that say Jewish banking families, because AI says there's no such thing anymore as a Jewish banking family, okay? And that may be, on the surface, that may be true. The Rothschilds and others have, if you like, been broken up and scattered through the shop front of international hedge funds, stocks, shares, partnerships, and so on. So Goldman Sachs, the Rothschilds, and et al. have all kind of like watered down the Jewish front to their operations. But we can say, when people are publicly declared and have identified themselves as being Jewish, that their money came from Jews, and or that people who became leaders of your country who previously worked for banks which were established by Jews. I know this sounds like I'm going to go on about the Jews, but it's true. So I am. For America, for instance, I should just like to let Americans know, any of you Americans who are tuning in, the Adelson family, a multi-billionaire Jewish family, funded both Donald Trump's campaigns. They were the single biggest individual donor. Now, I know Donald Trump got a lot of money from MAGA, but the money he received from the Adelson and other Jewish donors far, far, far exceeds anything any individual MAGA person gave. And he owes the Adelson family literally his entire political career, Donald Trump. So it's no surprise then that Donald Trump, once he got into power, did everything he possibly could to help out the cause of American Jews. And the cause that American Jews most give a fuck about is Israel. And that's why he recognized Jerusalem as the capital. That's why he recognized possession of the Golan Heights. That's why he funded the slaughter in Gaza, because he's bought, Donald Trump, bought and paid for by Jewish finance. Not just to satisfy ChatGPT and AI, I'm not saying Jewish banking families. I'm just saying Jewish finance. Keir Starmer came to power in Britain after Jeremy Corbyn was destroyed by claims of anti-Semitism, not only by the Jewish Friends of Labour, but also by the syndicate of Jewish political lobby in Britain. I'm not calling it Israeli. I could, but the two are synonymous, aren't they? Since Benjamin Netanyahu went out of his way to say that Israel is the Jewish state of Israel. So for any of you who are claiming that I've got something in for the Jews, I should like to point out that Israel is the Jewish state of Israel, officially, de facto, the country for Jews. Therefore, any assistance they receive is the assistance for Jews. And if it comes from Jewish finance, people who are declared Jewish who give money to elect politicians in other countries, then it's a Jewish lobby syndicate. Which is not the same thing as saying a Jewish banking family, which, okay, the Jewish banking families have just disappeared. Okay, so now what we have is a Jewish lobbying syndicate in your country, my country, their country, and any country at all, which could assist and advantage the Jewish state of Israel. So Jeremy Corbyn, the least bigoted and prejudiced man, I think, British politics has seen for a fucking decades. Honestly, Jeremy Corbyn, I don't think Jeremy Corbyn has a racist, bigoted cell in his body. He turns somersaults in his desire for equitable socialism. Personally, I think he's a total dick, but that's another story. But Jeremy Corbyn, by no account, ever could be said to be anti-Semitic at all. And yet, here we have a man whose leadership of the Labour Party was destroyed, and he was banished, exiled, and disenfranchised from power solely on the basis of anti-Semitism by the Jewish lobby syndicate. Let's just make that very clear. The potential leader of this country, who was a huge supporter of equal rights for Palestinians, was destroyed by the Jewish lobby syndicate. And he was replaced with Keir Starmer, who is married to a Jewish woman and is bringing up his children as Jewish. I'm just saying, these things are facts. Previous to that, the leader of this before Keir Starmer, I'm more than shadow banned, man. I mean, you wouldn't find me if you knew me and where I was. I'm like the invisible man. Anyway, Keir Starmer, married to a Jew, bringing up his children Jewish, now running the country. The previous government, Rishi Sunak, a former employee and partner of Goldman Sachs, founded by Jews, suddenly decides, Rishi Sunak, one day Rishi Sunak's a billionaire financier living in the lap of luxury in California, enjoying some surfing and, I don't know, whatever he enjoys. Then he decides all of a sudden gee, I've always wanted to be an MP in Britain. I have. And suddenly he's parachuted into the safest Tory seat in the country. The safest Tory. You could put a fucking dead fish in the constituency of Richmond in Yorkshire and it would be elected. So Rishi Sunak is parachuted into the safest Tory seat in the country, and then he's elected leader of the party. Not first. Rishi Sunak did not become leader of the party after they got rid of Boris Johnson, who, by the way, his campaign was funded by the Jewish syndicate lobby, destroyed by his partying during COVID, but that's another story. No, Rishi Sunak didn't completely win the parliamentary vote to be the leader of the Conservatives, so it had to go to the membership. And he, along with the other leading contestant, Liz Truss, was put forward to the Conservative Party membership. Now, the Conservative Party membership in Britain is made up of fat, bald, middle-aged, rich white men. And I'm not saying they're racist, but ... They didn't elect a man, Rishi Sunak, with a genius IQ, who'd been doing a sterling job of running the economy as Chancellor, with qualifications in finance, economics, coming out of his ears, a man, a safe pair of hands, a quality intellect, popular with the public. They didn't elect him. I'm not saying they're racist, but they elected Liz Truss, who is a knitted muppet. Liz Truss couldn't tie her fucking shoelaces. Liz Truss, I wouldn't let Liz Truss drive the school minibus. But that's who the Tory party membership voted, because they couldn't bring themselves to vote for Rishi Sunak, genius IQ, former banker, investment banker, billionaire, former chancellor, very popular with the public, doing a sterling job of running the country. They couldn't bring themselves to vote for him, so they voted for a knitted muppet. But that's another story. We could go on and on about the Jewish lobby syndicate, but my phone is getting hot because it's a very hot day here. So let me take you through Rishi Sunak's government. His cabinet had, he worked for and was a partner for the Jewish bank, Goldman Sachs. The head of defense was Jewish. The head of intelligence was Jewish. The head of culture and media was Jewish. There were 3 other Jews in the cabinet of the government of Britain. How many Amish people would you like to be in your government? Would we think, if there were a dozen Amish people in your government, that maybe their loyalties could be questionable? Maybe their first loyalty was not to the convenient coat of nationality that they were wearing, but their loyalty was more deep-seated in the core of their being, and that they owed their loyalty to the state of Israel, their religion, and their true identity. I'm asking the question rather than saying it is so, because maybe saying it is so makes me anti-Semitic, and in which case I'll be arrested and persecuted for having thoughts, like it was a crime to have thoughts. The rulers of America and the contestants to rule America. Donald Trump, funded by the Adelson family and the Jewish lobby syndicate. Joe Biden, funded by the Adelson family and the Jewish lobby syndicate. Hillary Clinton, funded by the Adelson family and the Jewish lobby syndicate. George Bush Jr. and Sr., funded by the Jewish lobby syndicate. Bill Clinton, funded by the Jewish lobby syndicate. Your heads of defense, your secretaries of state, Jewish or funded by the Jewish lobby syndicate. Take a look around, folks. Democracy is for sale, and it has been purchased. And it's not for your benefit, it's for the benefit of the Jewish state of Israel. In my mind, this is such a foregone fact and conclusion, I'm prepared to state it in bold face, videos such as this, without fear of contradiction. For I have checked all of these facts with ChatGPT. There are no Jewish banking families, but there is a Jewish lobby syndicate. They did fund the leaders of your country. Your country is in debt to the banks that the old Jewish families did fund. And you will stay in debt to these banks as long as they want you to. $100 billion a year Britain's paying to the banks to be in debt. We could pay that off. We could slash spending or raise taxes and pay that off, and we would be debt free. And who wouldn't get any money if we were debt free? The banks. It's funny that we should continue to be in debt simply to help banks who long ago were started by Jews be rich. Isn't that funny? You'd almost think there was some kind of Jewish lobby syndicate at work, keeping us in debt and funding the politicians who end up ruling our countries forever and ever and ever and ever. Amen. See you next time. Oh, be well, be free, be happy.